bitch, I caught the buzz.
Nobody's supposed to be here.
But bitch, I come the fuck.
I tried that love thing for the last time. My heart says no, no.
Bitch, your heart can't talk.
You're right.
Listen to me, I don't like you.
Do I give a fuck? No, not one. How many fucks do I give? 0.
Exactly, so therefore your comment is irrelevant.
This is Alexis Douglas, a 29-year-old mother of 2 young children living in Nashville, Tennessee, who would be found dead in her own apartment on December 21st, 2020, shot multiple times in what would later be described as an act born from jealous rage. The killer had entered her home using a key she didn't even know he still possessed, uttering the words, "I bet you forgot I had this," before opening fire on both Alexis and her new boyfriend, Gene Fernandez. Before we delve into the horrifying events of that December night, let me take you back to November 16, 1991, when Alexis J. Douglas was born in Nashville, Tennessee, the city that would be both her home and the setting of her untimely demise. Growing up in Nashville's suburban area, Alexis was known among her circle as a remarkably resilient individual, someone with an infectious warmth and positivity that drew people to her.
Okay, all you got to do is stop that arguing. If you don't want me to go, just say you don't want me to go. That's all. You ain't got to pick a doggone argument. If you don't want me to go, just say it.
I don't want you to go.
Don't matter, because I'm still going. You can put your lips in.
Y'all, it's the ugliest nigga on my page talking shit. He said I have no ass.
Hold on, wait. Let them hoes get into it right quick. Y'all see me? Yes, hair on fleek. You're in my business. Don't do that.
As Alexis grew through her 20s, she embraced motherhood in her early adulthood, welcoming 2 beautiful children into the world with Samia Boyce Jr., a relationship that would prove to be one of the many sources of struggle and disappointment in her personal life.
He just does it. Ah, psych, it's a video.
You're funny, Mommy.
Happy birthday, Zay. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Xavier. Oh yeah, you turned 8 today. Go Zay. 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 Go. Ooh. 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 Go. Oh. 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 Turn up. Turn up. Turn up. Turn up. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Go. 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 Go Xavier. Go Xavier. Go Xavier. Go Xavier. Zay. 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 All right. What you want for breakfast, man? What do you want for breakfast? Yeah. All right. Well, tell me what you want. We'll go get it. I'll make it.
Alexis had 2 children who had reached the tender ages of 5 and 6 years old, and she had dedicated herself wholeheartedly to providing them with the stability, love, and opportunities she felt they deserved. Her commitment to her children's well-being was unwavering, even as she struggled with the challenges of co-parenting with a man she would come to describe in deeply unflattering terms on social media platforms where she vented her frustrations about his alleged neglect and lack of involvement in their children's lives. But Alexis was more than just a devoted mother struggling through difficult circumstances. She was also an entrepreneur, a woman determined to carve out her own path to financial independence and self-sufficiency in a world that often made such aspirations challenging for single mothers. She owned and operated Fancy Funnels, a small business specializing in flavored funnel cakes. Her social media presence revealed a woman who was remarkably candid about her struggles, someone who used platforms like Facebook and TikTok not just to share the carefully curated highlights of her life, but to process her experiences, express her frustrations, and connect with others who might be facing similar challenges.
But y'all come get y'all funnel cakes while y'all can. Pull up.
In one particularly revealing post that captured her mindset about relationships, she wrote, "I probably will be single because I'm picky as hell. I just know one thing. I know I'm not going to hell for having a husband and a boyfriend." This statement, layered with both humor and hints of deeper emotional complexity, suggested a woman who had become cautious and selective after being burned too many times, yet still harbored hopes for genuine connection and companionship in her life. Her relationship with Samia Boyes Jr., the father of her children, was particularly contentious and filled with disappointment, as evidenced by numerous posts where she publicly aired her grievances about his parenting, or rather, his lack thereof. With raw emotion pouring through her words, she criticized him relentlessly for what she perceived as his failure to prioritize his own children, writing things like, "How you keep putting women before your child is beyond me. You are seriously a joke." In another brutally honest moment of digital venting, she declared that her biggest regret is having a fuckboy as my baby daddy, expressing the deep remorse she felt about bringing children into the world with someone she now viewed as fundamentally unreliable and dishonest. But perhaps the most dangerous relationship in Alexis's life, the one that would ultimately prove fatal, was her 5 to 6 year on and off partnership with James Reitnor, a relationship that was filled with persistent patterns of emotional manipulation and physical abuse. Alexis repeatedly tried to break free only to be pulled back in through various means of control and manipulation that Reitnor employed to maintain his hold over her life. According to arrest affidavits and testimony presented during the trial, Reitnor subjected Alexis to both mental and physical harm throughout their relationship. Family members and close friends who testified during legal proceedings reported to authorities that Alexis had made numerous attempts to sever all ties with Reitnor, going so far as to block his phone numbers and desperate efforts to prevent him from continuing to contact her and insert himself back into her life. But Reitnor was not a man who accepted rejection gracefully or respected boundaries that were set by the woman he claimed to have feelings for. According to those same testimonies, he allegedly circumvented Alexis's efforts to cut off contact by acquiring new phone numbers and texting her repeatedly. This harassment escalated precisely as Alexis was attempting to rebuild her life, to move forward from the trauma she had endured, and to find happiness in healthier circumstances. And for a brief, shining moment in late 2020, it appeared that Alexis Douglas had finally found the happiness and stability she so desperately deserved. She had begun a new relationship with Gene Fernandez, a 29-year-old man who offered her the emotional support, kindness, and genuine affection that had been so sorely lacking in her previous romantic entanglements.
So, we're having a holiday party. Cheese. I'm a gangster rapper. He's a nutcracker. This is the entrance. I'm giving you some TikTok etiquette, all right? Mm-hmm. First thing we're gonna do is a splice. Watch this. Isn't that awesome?
That's great.
Look at you already learning TikTok. Okay. So next, after this stops, it's gonna stop. Mm-hmm. It's not stopping. Okay. So we're gonna use an effect.
Okay.
That was a special effect. That was awesome, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'm just saying, it's just gonna be one of us that doesn't look good. I look like this. You chose me. You talking about me? My God. It's the inside that counts. That's good. You were saying?
She's talking a lot of shit right now.
Oh, yeah. Stop, babe. We will get to you. No. 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 Okay. I'm just making sure you had something to say.
Oh, don't get bold.
Very. Anyway. See you in the food court, babe. That's what you get for messing with me. You started it. I'm gonna finish it every single time.
No, you're not.
Every single time. Yeah.
The difference between this new relationship and her past experiences was clear and beautiful. On her TikTok account, Alexis began sharing videos of their time, moments of genuine happiness that showcased a woman who was finally experiencing what a healthy, supportive relationship could feel like. Her friends and family noticed the change in her demeanor, the lightness in her step, the genuine smiles that reached her eyes in ways they hadn't seen in years. She was building something real with Jean, finally moving towards the future she had always envisioned for herself. But there was one critical oversight, one seemingly small detail that would prove to have fatal consequences. Alexis had never changed the locks on her apartment at Terrace Park Towns on Elm Hill Pike in the Donelson neighborhood of Nashville, Tennessee, after her breakup with James Reitnor. On December 21, 2020, inside her apartment at the Terrace Park Towns complex, Alexis and Jean were simply relaxing together on the couch, perhaps watching television or talking about their day, or making plans for the future they were building together. Her two children, her precious 5-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter, were tucked safely into their beds in another room, completely unaware of the horror that was about to unfold just rooms away from where they slumbered. It was approximately 11:45 in the evening when James Reitnor made his move. Reitnor allegedly entered the apartment using a key he had retained from his previous relationship with Alexis. Reitnor made a remark as he entered, stating, "I bet you forgot I had this." These words, casual yet threatening, served as the only warning before he immediately opened fire on the couple who sat before him. Alexis was struck multiple times by the bullets, and she would be pronounced dead on the scene by responding officers who arrived after neighbors called 911 upon hearing the unmistakable sound of gunfire coming from the apartment. Jean was also struck by bullets during Reitnor's attack, sustaining serious injuries that required immediate medical attention. Unlike Alexis, however, he survived the shooting, though he was rushed to Vanderbilt University Medical Center for emergency treatment of his gunshot wounds. Despite the trauma and physical pain he was experiencing, Jean remained alert enough to provide crucial information to the investigators who arrived at the scene, immediately identifying James Reitnor as the assailant who entered the apartment and opened fire without warning or provocation. Perhaps mercifully, Alexis's children were asleep in another room during the shooting and did not directly witness the violence that claimed her life. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, they were placed with relatives who would now take on the responsibility of raising these children who had been so suddenly and violently orphaned. As Metro Nashville PD officers arrived at the scene at Terrace Park Towns and began their initial investigation into what had transpired in that apartment, the investigation took an unfortunate detour that would briefly complicate matters. Based on a witness's erroneous identification, warrants were initially issued for Samia Boyce Jr., the father of Alexis's children, even though he had nothing to do with the shooting. However, after investigators interviewed Boyce and reviewed all available evidence, they withdrew the warrants against Boyce and shifted their full focus to James Reitnor as the actual perpetrator of this heinous crime. This correction, while necessary and proper, cost valuable time in the pursuit of the real killer. In the days following the shooting, as Alexis's family and friends wrestled with their grief and tried to make sense of a loss that seemed senseless and preventable, public viewings were held on January 3, 2021, at Smith Funeral Directors in Nashville, allowing the community to come together to mourn and celebrate the life of a woman taken far too soon. Meanwhile, as the community mourned, James Reitnor had gone into hiding, escaping from the consequences of his actions and forcing law enforcement to launch an intensive manhunt to bring him to justice. For months, he remained at large, living as a fugitive while Alexis's family struggled with grief and the frustration of seeing her killer walk free. But justice, though delayed, was not denied, because on August 24, 2021, more than 8 months after the shooting, the United States Marshals Fugitive Task Force successfully apprehended James Reitnor at a relative's home on Tucker Road in Nashville. At the time of his arrest, he was 27 years old and was immediately charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder, serious charges that reflected the gravity of his crimes. He was held without bond at the downtown detention center, ensuring that he would remain behind bars as he awaited trial for taking Alexis's life. What's particularly disturbing about Alexis Douglas's murder is that it wasn't an isolated incident in Nashville, but rather part of a deeply troubling pattern of domestic violence homicides that have plagued the city, particularly cases where ex-boyfriends have invaded their former partners' homes and killed them out of jealousy and possessiveness. In fact, less than 1 year after Alexis was killed, another young Nashville woman named Michaela Carter, just 24 years old, was shot and killed in her Antioch home in November 2021 by her ex-boyfriend James Leggett in circumstances that were scarily similar to what had happened to Alexis.
It was a 911 call that captured a terrifying moment when police say an estranged husband repeatedly shot a Nashville woman who later died.
And that woman's mother is suing the city of Nashville, saying officers never should have let it get to that point. And tonight, for the first time, News Channel 5's Jason Lamb is digging into those 911 calls and what that woman's mother says she wants you to hear.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
He's here. He's here.
The mother of Michaela Carter is suing Metro Nashville for what happened in the middle of this call in November 2021.
He's 6'6", he's like 260. Are you sending somebody? Did you already send somebody?
What's going on? What's going on?
A lawsuit says earlier in the day, Michaela's estranged husband called and sent text messages to her, looking for her. The lawsuit says that violated a protection order Michaela had against him after he beat Michaela with a glass liquor bottle earlier that year. But when Michaela called Metro Police and showed officers the text messages, the lawsuit says officers told her they still didn't have enough evidence to arrest her husband and brought her back home to Antioch. Police left. Her husband came back. Michaela called 911.
We've been going through this all day. We done been talking to police. The police just left from checking my house.
Okay.
As soon as they pulled off, he walks up and he's beating on the door now. And
Okay.
he has a gun.
But right after
Again,
this,
let me verify the addresses.
you can hear at least 3 gunshots on the line. Her husband, police say, shot her. Her mom picked up the phone.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Where has she been shot? Can you tell me?
Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord.
Michaela later died. Police eventually arrested James Leggett for the shooting, but the lawsuit says police should have known they had enough to arrest him for violating the protection order before he shot Michaela. Amelia Luna works with the Legal Aid Society, a nonprofit that helps people experiencing domestic abuse.
If you have friends or family that are victims of abuse, give them this information. because information is power, and it helps and will help people be safe.
She says beyond an order of protection, it's important to have a safety plan, including a place to go if things get out of hand, advice to keep situations from developing into anything more. Jason Lamb, News Channel 5.
In response to the lawsuit today, a Metro attorney told us MNPD takes its responsibilities seriously, and we dispute plaintiff's version of the events as outlined in the complaint. Given the pending litigation, we will respond to plaintiff's more specific claims and allegations through the appropriate legal process. When we spoke with the attorney for Michaela's mom today, he told us her mom wants you to hear that entire 911 call, including the moment Michaela was shot, to prevent something like this from happening to anyone else and to convince Metro Council members to take action. It is a very disturbing moment, but we have decided to post that entire call to our website for you to listen to.
Like Alexis, Michaela had recently ended a toxic, abusive relationship after Leggett had allegedly beaten her with a glass bottle in a prior assault. She had taken what she thought was the right step to protect herself, obtaining an order of protection against him through the legal system. But that order of protection, much like the blocked phone numbers that Alexis had used against Reitenor, proved to be nothing more than a piece of paper when faced with a man determined to maintain control. Leggett violated the protection order, breaking into Michaela's residence and fatally shooting her. And the most heartbreaking detail of this case is that the tragedy was captured in a distressing 911 call where Michaela could be heard pleading, "Help me, Lord," amid the chaos, her final words a desperate prayer as her life was being taken from her. The aftermath of Michaela Carter's murder revealed systemic failures that may have contributed to her death. Her mother, Kimberly Jones Mbuyi, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Metro Nashville Police Department, claiming officers failed to adequately respond to reports of Leggett's threats and violations of the protection order. The lawsuit described the police department's inaction as deeply disturbing and predictably fatal negligence, arguing that authorities had clear legal obligations to protect Michaela but failed to do so.
To a story for you. We have previously told you about the story of Michaela Carter. Police say a man who was ordered to stay away from her shot and killed her, and officers say that happened just minutes after she had been speaking with Metro police officers. Well, now Miss Carter's mother will receive $250,000 from the Metro Nashville government to settle her wrongful death lawsuit against them.
Now, overnight, one Metro Council member, Joy Stiles, took the opportunity to personally apologize to the family.
I have faith in our police department, but the officer who failed this woman shouldn't be here anymore, and unfortunately, he still is. And whatever can be done for that to be rectified, I promise I will be looking into that. This is a pittance to offer someone for the loss of a life that could have been prevented. And I'm very sorry. Again, ma'am.
Now, as a result of this settlement, changes will also be made following Metro's internal investigation into Miss Carter's death. For example, body cameras will now be on when officers are talking with domestic violence victims.
We also know that the officers must send what's called a rapid or BOLO, be on the lookout message for suspected orders of protection violators that could be out there.
In February 2024, a settlement of $250,000 was reached, but more importantly than the monetary compensation, the settlement mandated critical policy changes within the Metro Nashville Police Department. And the pattern doesn't end there. In 2022, another Nashville woman named Christine Estock, a 48-year-old who was visiting her relative's home in the Donaldson neighborhood, became yet another victim of jealousy-fueled violence in a domestic setting. She was staying at the residence of her nephew's girlfriend, Pasha Basket, whose boyfriend was a 70-year-old man named Ronnie Phillips. When Phillips received a suspicious phone call alleging that Estock was arranging for Basket to meet another man, he became overcome with jealousy and rage, shooting Estock while she slept on the sofa, executing her in cold blood because of unfounded suspicions that had nothing to do with her. He then held Basket at gunpoint, tased her, and coerced her into falsely reporting Estock's death as a suicide, attempting to cover up his crime through intimidation and manipulation. In May 2025, Phillips was convicted of first-degree premeditated murder, especially aggravated kidnapping and aggravated assault, with the jury taking just 1 hour to deliberate before returning their guilty verdict. He received an automatic life sentence for the murder charge, becoming yet another Nashville man who would spend the rest of his life behind bars for killing a woman in a jealousy-driven attack within a home setting. These cases, when examined together, reveal a pattern that is as clear as it is horrifying. In Nashville, as in cities across the country, the period immediately following a breakup is the most dangerous time for women who have been in abusive relationships, because this is when the abuser's sense of control is most threatened, and when they are most likely to escalate to lethal violence. Finally, in May of 2025, nearly 4.5 years after Alexis was killed, the case went to trial in Davidson County Criminal Court, presided over by Judge Jennifer Smith in Division 4. The prosecution team, consisting of Assistant District Attorneys Debbie Housel and Elizabeth Huertas, supported by Victim Witness Coordinator Susan Tucker Smith, built a comprehensive case against Reitnor that drew on multiple sources of evidence and testimony. Central to the prosecution's case was the testimony of Gene Fernandez, who had survived the shooting and could provide first-hand accounts of what had transpired that terrible December night. He took the stand and recounted the events in detail, positively identifying James Reitnor as the man who had entered the apartment and opened fire, shooting both him and Alexis without provocation or warning. His testimony was compelling, providing the jury with a direct witness account of Reitnor's actions. Additional witnesses, including Alexis's loved ones and the detectives who had investigated the case, provided testimony that showed a comprehensive picture of the relationship between Alexis and Reitnor, detailing the pattern of abuse and harassment that had characterized their years together. After hearing all of the evidence and testimony presented during the trial, the jury began its deliberations, weighing the facts of the case and the applicable law. On May 14, 2025, they reached their verdict, finding James Reitnor, now 31 years old, guilty on both counts: first-degree premeditated murder and premeditated attempted first-degree premeditated murder. The murder conviction carried an automatic life sentence under Tennessee law, which Reitnor began serving immediately upon the announcement of the verdict, ensuring that he would spend the rest of his natural life behind bars, never again able to harm another woman the way he had harmed Alexis Douglas. Sentencing for the attempted murder charge was scheduled for August of 2025, though as of early 2026, no public records documenting the outcome of that sentencing hearing have emerged in widespread media coverage, suggesting that it may have been handled as a routine matter without generating additional press attention, or that the details simply weren't widely reported beyond local court records. Have you had any experience of an estranged person breaking into your home? Let me know in the comments below.
Okay, so everybody keeps saying that I almost failed during that last part. I didn't know that I could have done this. Okay? Yeah. I want a nigga to try to do that shit. That shit hard. My knees hurt. I am not Meg the Stallion, bitches. The fuck? Woo. I'm old, honey. My knees don't work like that no more. Okay? Okay. Have a good day.
Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.